visit, Ike was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean for some of the biggest combat training exercises in recent history. Explore and interact with different parts of the ship to experience life on Ike. Most of the exciting action on board happens here on the flight deck. As you look around, notice the vastness of the ocean, the wide open space of the flight deck. It's a little over 3 football fields long. It seems like a lot of space. There's no room for error. With 4 catapults, crews can launch and recover aircraft within seconds of each other. It's hot, loud. Somewhere off the coast of Florida, more than 5,000 U.S. Navy sailors on board the USS Eisenhower prepare for deployment. Ike's purpose is simple: support as many air operations as necessary during combat. Over 3 days of the biggest training exercises in recent Navy history, it's clear. Launching and landing planes on a moving platform in the middle of the ocean is anything but simple.
It's extraordinarily loud. They're not using a lot of voice commands, mostly hand signals. A few of them have radios and they're communicating with each other using radios, but the rest are using visual signals, hand signals, body language, things like that to get the job done.
Pilots spend upwards of 6 hours in the cockpit, depending on their mission. They're able to execute complex flying maneuvers anywhere from a few hundred feet above sea level to the stratosphere. Ike's enormous hangar can hold approximately 60 aircraft. There's also a major access point to other parts of the ship. Everything from a chapel to a barber shop, and even a Starbucks can be found on board. With over 5,000 personnel, Ike is a floating city that buzzes with action on deck and below. Every sailor's job is crucial for a smooth and safe operation. While the action on the flight deck gets the most attention, what happens below deck on the USS Eisenhower is equally impressive. Aircraft carriers are often called floating cities, where everything from electricity to food service to trash processing needs to run smoothly. But for many sailors, perhaps the most important place below deck, Starbucks. Of course.
They say that Ike sells more coffee than any other aircraft carrier, so...
Well, what does that say about the crew?
I think we're tired.
Christine Smith and Timothy Timms are formerly trained baristas, like all sailors who staff this Starbucks in the middle of the ocean. They crank out more than 700 cups a day, but make up just a small part of life aboard Ike.
Now we are preparing for deployment and preparing for religious ministry.
When sailors face tough times, they turn to Lieutenant Commander Doug Grace and Jonathan Herkmans.
Well, most of the time when they want to come to a chaplains, they're looking for help with stress issues. They want to talk mostly from what I'm dealing with stress leading up to deployment.
For relationship advice, the crew turns to who else? Their barbers.
We hear everything. They don't filter anything from us. Yeah, we're like one of the guys over here. So it's, yeah.
And then we get the questions that I guess they want to ask
us, but they don't care to ask, so they ask us.
Yeah. It's an Navy thing.
Whether it's a root canal or an appendectomy, Ike is equipped to handle just about any medical issue a sailor might have. This is the crow's nest, the highest point of the Ike's air boss and mini boss work with crew members on the flight deck to ensure aircraft are launched and recovered safely. At the height of training or real missions, operations run around the clock. It's almost sunset over the Atlantic. Eisenhower crew members are attempting to recover as many F-18s as they can within the next half hour. For sailor Carlos Vargas, the day has just begun.
You have to have your head on the swivel. So you have to be looking around, making sure that your back is good, your front, your side, everything, so that nothing happens to you. And you want to make sure that you take care of also the personnel that are with you at all.
As an aircraft handler, danger is all around him. Jet blasts that could burn you alive if you get too close. Propellers, rotors, and then there's foreign object damage or fog. Everything on deck must be secured. Something as small as a bolt being sucked into a jet engine could cause a catastrophe.
It is considered one of the most dangerous jobs in the Navy, and if you don't have that excitement to be out here 18 hours a day, you know, it's tough, and if you don't have that excitement or that love for the job, you're not going to be able to do it.
But accidents happen. In March 2016, 8 sailors were seriously injured while attempting to recover an aircraft. In this surveillance video, look closely, and you can see an arresting cable break, recoiling towards the back of the ship. This sailor dodges the cable, and serious injury by mere inches. Meanwhile, the pilots of the E-2C Hawkeye managed to save it from plunging into the Atlantic Ocean, and all of this happens in less than 10 seconds. The incident took place 2 weeks before USA Today's visit, but it was clearly still top of mind for many sailors. Captain Paul Spadero Jr. talks about his crew's response.
It was a difficult day because we had 8 sailors that were injured, but the response was remarkable. What the crew did was really extraordinary. They took the training that we provided them through the weeks and months and some of them years of schools and drills and exercises, and they responded without thinking. It was all instinctive. A Department of Defense investigation later revealed that 3 maintenance personnel
incorrectly programmed a valve controlling pressure and energy absorption. Therefore, the arresting cable could not properly distribute the plane's weight. Sailors face.
Yeah.
And then we get the questions that I guess they want to ask girls,
but they don't care to ask, so they ask
So,
us. Like,
you know,
yeah,
it's an envy for you, I guess.
Common type. Ship psychiatrist Lieutenant Commander Christopher Schulthis talks about the most common types of injuries on board. Chow down. Folks can grab a bite at one of Ike's mess halls. Food is served 24/7 to accommodate sailors who work odd hours. Every city has a waste management facility. Ike is no different. First Class Petty Officer Jamali Hill and his crew dispose of trash from every corner of the ship. It may not be the most glorious job, but it's an important one. From trash to coffee. Each sailor plays an essential role in making this floating city work, so the commanders can focus on the action on deck and in the air.